Attention, esteemed listener. We appreciate the time, attention, and faith in your favorite programs and, of course, your favorite dial. Do remember, though, that all opinions expressed on this program by our various contributors are purely those of the analysts and are not the corporate opinions of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Happy listening. Thank you.
Very beautiful Thursday morning to you from wherever you are across the world. It's the 8th day of the 4th month of year 2020. Of course, still COVID-19 all around the world, and but then even though some people in China are already celebrating today after 76 days of lockdown, Wuhan is opening. Well, we hope at least one day we'll lift the lockdowns somewhere in Nigeria too. You know, the days the states, federal government decided to lock down Lagos, FCT, and even partially lock down your state. Okay, so you're welcome. This is NewsBit coming to you live from the stables of Oluyole 98.5 FM right here in Iliake Dorita Bashoru in Ibadan. I am Oladayo Ogunbowale.
And I'm Tola Tediba. Good morning.
All right, NewsBit is the newspaper review program in English, and this is where we give you news you can use. Of course, the Yoruba version comes up much later. And today, this is what we'll be doing. We have newspapers for you. I have a copy of the Nation newspaper.
And I have a copy of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, I need to correct myself. I mentioned Thursday earlier. Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Don't mind me. I want this week to quickly go. If possible, this year should just wrap up. It's a Wednesday morning. All right, from wherever you're listening. And of course, for our online listeners, we are still live, and we are always live as usual on mixler.com/Oluyole FM. And of course, Radio Garden, you can find us there. All our social media platforms are functioning live and direct. You can stream us live on Facebook.com/Oluyole 98.5 FM, Twitter at Oluyole FM, Instagram at Oluyole 98.5 FM. We are live as we speak. So without much ado, we go straight to our newspaper. For today, I have the Nation newspaper.
And of course, I have the Nigerian Tribune.
All right. There's this headline that is extension of lockdown not ruled out, says federal government. And we have a rider here, SGF Buhari to decide 16 new cases, 8 discharge in Lagos, Abuja, 1 dies in Katsina.
And this one says COVID-19, 16 new cases in Lagos, FCT, Oyo, Delta, Katsina. That's on pages 3 and 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And we have a banner headline of that newspaper, alleged unethical conduct in COVID-19 patient's death. Kwara governor fumes, 6 federal government's probe, and UITH suspense consultant begins investigation, isolates 28 workers. State tracing 74 contacts of 2 confirmed cases, and government locks down all farm. All this coming from Kwara State and on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Very interesting. I remember our governor said he was not impressed with this program. 2 trillion naira social investment program of failure. That's according to the Senate President. Yes, I know you looked at my face like, I mean, yeah. This is not PDP, and it's not even APC. We are talking of people in government, the 3rd tier of government.
Coming from the Senate President.
Senate President Dr. Ahmed Lawan, and of course, Bajabi Amila, and they are seeking urgent review. Details on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. I know a lot of people threw stones, yesterday when we read into that. I can. Governor says he's not impressed. Who is he? Well, the people in charge have said. They didn't even say they are not impressed. They called it a failure. Wow. 2 trillion naira social investment program of failure. Details on page 5 of the Nation newspaper.
That's worrisome.
Worrisome, indeed.
Well, World Bank releases $82 million support to Nigeria. That's on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And I think a follow-up to the Funke Akindele escapade. Police to arraign Naira Marley, PDP chief orders. Details on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. You know, those who attended the parties. The party.
The house party.
The house party.
There was a movie some times ago, I think in the 80s.
House party.
House party. It reminded me of that movie.
They will go and do a party after party with the police. So, details of that, page 6 of the Nation newspaper.
Something like what you read about the failure of the social investment program. This one says federal government social investment program are not reaching the poor. That's coming from the National Assembly. And Lagos will go FCT to get 70,000 tons of food items, and FG's conditional cash transfer scheme begins in Oyo, Kogi, Ekiti. That's on page 5, 6 and 30 of the Nigerian Tribune.
We have anxiety as 67 head for Osun from Cote d'Ivoire. Quarantine them at the border. Hey. Anxiety at 67 head for Osun from Cote d'Ivoire. Details on page 29. There's no other name. Quarantine them as they are entering. Don't even let them enter Osun. As they cross the border, put them in a place. Let them go for quarantine for as minimum of 14 days. That's what the law says. So no anxiety. I think we should just do the right thing.
4 fired killed in Kaduna for flouting stay-at-home order. That's on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. You know, we've been talking about these things, the high handling of security agents. Well, when we take the story, we'll get to know whether they were killed by security agents.
I know it's not. I think it was in Kaduna or is it Kaduna? I wonder what happened in that place. Well, we have World Bank gives $82 million to Nigeria. Okay. Details of that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Money is coming in. Let's spend it wisely.
Well, it seems like Wait has taken the action of the Chadian president personally leading his troops against Boko Haram. I think our troops seem to be launching a renewed offensive against Boko Haram, maybe spurred on by that action. It says Nigerian troops launched attacks on Boko Haram ISWAP insurgents in Borno. That's on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Wow. Okay.
A quick follow-up to that action of the Chadian president. I think it will do a lot of good.
It will. In fact, we can't sit down on your hands akimbo and be watching, while foreigners come, pull off such tons on our land.
No Nigerian soil.
I mean, it's an insult. I'm pretty sure, I'm very confident in our men that they can do more, they can deliver better. I mean, let's allow them, give them the necessary support, and of course, equipment. Very, very important. We have Makinde targets 10,000 for tests. That's diagnosis for the COVID-19 here in Oyo State. Saying the diagnostic center is targeting 10,000 tests. I'm pretty sure by the time we do 10,000, we will see. Every stone should be left unturned.
That's quite significant.
We should be able to detect everyone, or at least almost everyone, that might have traces of the COVID-19. Good one from there. The most important thing is we pray they achieve it. Just make the statements. All right. So 2 pastors arraigned in Kaduna. Okay. Details of that, page 7 and 8. I don't know. They have exclusive right to God. Man. Well, details of that, page 7 and 8 of the Nation newspaper.
44,000 American citizens expatriated from 78 countries. That's on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune.
We have Rivers Court remands 2 pilots, those who flew in, those expatriates into Rivers State. Details of that on page 25 of the Nation newspaper. Right there.
This one here, Oyo records 2 new COVID-19 cases. Total now 11.
Yes, sir.
3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Yeah, total 11 and 2 discharged, so 9 active cases in Oyo State currently. We have Luth opens 60-bed isolation center Chinese town, Wuhan, reopens today. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Where the whole wahala started from? They have rebooted and they are back to normal now. Whereas the whole world is here to... Oh, wow. What a life. Okay, details of that, page 25 too, of the Nation newspaper.
And your APC chieftain district disposes cash palliatives to Ogbomoso residents. Latif Fagbemi, that's the erudite lawyer, gives 20,000 naira each to 250 lawyers as palliatives in Ibadan. What are the efforts being made by politicians and then
one of the largest donors? Anyway, brilliant ones there. We can do more. Let's do more as a country. We have New York records 731 deaths in one single day. Wow. City of New York, 731 deaths in a day. Uzodinma okays Buhari's stimulus. Details of that on page 30 of the Nation newspaper.
There was a story yesterday about the arrest of the killers of Fashion Auntie's daughter, the Afenifere leader. And here we're now seeing claims and counterclaims between Afenifere and the Ondo State Police Command. This headline says from Keola Coin, ignore Ondo Police claim. SARS has briefed Fashion Auntie on suspect's arrest, says Afenifere.
Okay.
There's a big cream between Afenifere and the police now. The Ondo State Police Command, to be precise.
Well, but then I hope they do the right thing. We're talking about human life here. We can't just sweep it under the carpet.
And justice must be done.
Definitely. Definitely. And it must be seen to be done. On page 4 of the Nation newspaper, Boko Haram attacks Adamawa town. These guys are not giving up. Pray we work on the chart there and victory recently and do more.
And do more.
Rout these guys. They should not be active on our lands. Boko Haram attacks Adamawa town. Details on page 4 of the Nation newspaper.
I believe the Nigerian military will be conscious of the fact that we are likely to see a more active Boko Haram in the next few days, having been dislodged from that place where the Chadian president led an attack on them. The fleeing ones definitely want to be attacking anything along their path.
Definitely.
And if we perchance we are complacent, that would spell total disaster, not just for the military but for innocent citizens living in that axis. So I believe the military will wake up to the clarion call and actually, like you said, weigh in on the Chadian victory and do the needful.
We seriously hope they do that, and as fast as possible.
Yes, as fast as possible.
We can't afford to waste time now. We cannot, as a country, we just don't have that time to waste. I mean, when did they attack? The Chadians attacked them. Now they have attacked another state, Adamawa state.
So definitely they are looking for another foothold as soon as possible. They've been destroyed from a major hideout, so definitely they will be looking for another stronger foothold to consolidate their hold on whatever territory they may find themselves in at the moment. So the Nigerian military really needs to do the needful at this. And I believe they actually know what to do.
Of course. The most important thing is do it. You know, there's this advert, one sports agency, just do it.
Just do it.
Fine, you know what to do, please go ahead and do it. I think we'll go straight. I might not have much stories from the economic scene, or do you have economy, politics before we go to sports?
Well, actually, crime, alleged Kogi assault victim should file petition with police now, says rights groups. And our kidnappers reduce ransom from 150 million naira to 20 million naira for Nasarawa governor's aids release. Even with all this COVID-19.
They're not negotiating. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Well, we pray for the safe return of these people. I mean, only God knows what they are going through, where they are right now. And that's the most dangerous part. Okay, we pray for the safe return. Governor's aid for that matter.
The governor's aid.
It is well. It is well. And any more stories on the economy, politics?
Okay, this one says Fitch downgrades Nigeria to B, outlook negative. That's economy. And, equities market holds negative sentiment gains 133.3 billion naira. Still talking. And Ipman orders back removal of fuel subsidy. This fuel subsidy thing has been coming up again in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis.
Scam of the decade. I mean, from the previous government to the current government, we are removing scam. Why are we still hearing of subsidy? Well, we pray we'll have some solid explanations one day, and not just something for the optics.
Some people said subsidy stopped existing a long time ago.
So why are these people talking about it? I mean, it's just, straight up, there's no, if it no longer exists, why are we still discussing it? Okay, well, we hope for the best. Well, yesterday was World Health Day. Muhammad Bande, WHO, paid tributes to health workers. Of course, I remember when we started yesterday, we did our very good best to appreciate every single health worker out there. We say thank you again. Thank you. United Nations General Assembly President Tijani Muhammad Bande and WHO saying thank you to every single health worker out there putting their lives on the line to ensure that we have a COVID-19 free environment. I'll go straight to sports. Sports page of the Nation newspaper, page 31. Sports. Raw, silent on new contract. That's our coach for the national football team, senior football team. Donald Raw is silent on new contract offer.
And this one says Raw unruffled by new contract order. Sports page of the Nigerian Tribune.
Grieving Guardiola accepts pay cuts. Pep Guardiola, coach of the Manchester City senior team, who lost his mother recently. Well, if it was Nigeria, I would say, which money will you use to do ceremony? There's no ceremony now. But we really, sympathize with him. Grieving Guardiola accepts pay cuts. Details, page 31 of the Nation newspaper.
And COVID-19 breach prostitutes and workers England career. The story says Gareth Southgate it says Gareth Southgate is seething with Kyle Walker and will never pick the Manchester City right back for England duty again. And that Walker has been embroiled in controversy this week after it was claimed he paid £2,000 for 2 sex workers to visit him and the friend at his home during the state enforced lockdown.
Wow.
£2,000.
Seriously. Those are first class sex workers.
Wow.
Not like I'm not, before some people say, how much do you, I don't know, but I'm just wondering, that's a lot of money.
What I could do with £2,000.
You are telling me. Multiplied by, that's over 400 now. I don't even know the current black market price right now. Well, those guys are not poor anyway. The guys paying their amount.
That kind of money
they are extremely rich. These are millionaires in the same pounds we're talking about. IOC hails Nigeria athletes over COVID-19 awareness campaign. Good one right there.
And ex-FIFA chiefs indicted in World Cup bribe.
And we have Sholanke and Yonwale trio fans at Stay Safe table tennis.
And we have a very strange claim here: COVID-19 used for population control, and that's coming from Amir Khan, a British boxer.
I'm wondering where he got that idea from. Interesting. World Athletics suspends Olympic qualification date, so that more people can qualify and all that. Well, I think that's the much we can take. Okay, 2022 World Cup, U.S. courts faults Qatar hosting rights.
And we have this one here: EPL stars oppose salary reduction.
All right, I think that's the much I have from here from the sports. We'll go on a short break. When we're back, we'll give you details behind a couple of these headlines. Please don't go anywhere.
NewsBit.
people. And
Attention, esteemed listener. We appreciate the time, attention, and faith in your favorite programs and, of course, your favorite dial. Do remember, though, that all opinions expressed on this program by our various contributors are purely those of the analysts and are not the corporate opinions of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Happy listening. Thank you.
So glad to know you're still there. You're listening to NewsBit, coming to you live from the stables of Oluyole, 98.5 FM, and we're broadcasting live on the radio network of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. We're live also on Agility 92.1 FM and Okiogun 96.3 FM. Are you just joining us? I am Oladayo Ogunbowale.
And I'm Tola Teriba.
Well, before we went on that break, we gave you headlines, and we will be reading out details from some of those headlines in a jiffy. From the Nation newspaper, 2 trillion naira social investment program a failure. That's according to the Senate President, Dr. Hamid Lawan, and of course his colleague and the House of Reps, Bajabia Miller. The implementation and distribution of the federal government social investment program SIP fund has failed. Senate President Hamid Lawan and House Representatives Speaker Femi Bajabia Miller have said the SIP has gobbed over 2 trillion naira since 2016, when the Special Intervention Fund was created as an annual budgetary allocation targeted at the poor. The sum of 500 billion naira was provided in the budget every year since 2016. Also in the wobbly 2020 budget, the sum of 500 billion naira was again voted for the SIP. Lawan Agbajabiamila spoke yesterday when he met with the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Haji Sadiya Umar Farouk, and some top officials of the ministry. The Senate President and House of Representatives Speaker lamented that the fund had failed to reach those for who it was created. Now, the National Assembly presiding officers called for the immediate review of the implementation of the fund for it to achieve its intended purpose. The meeting, according to a statement by the Special Advisor Media to the Senate President, Oluyole in Abuja, was attended by the Deputy Senate President, Ove Omagege, Deputy Speaker Idris Wase, and some other principal officers and members from both chambers. According to the statement, the meeting was convened by the leadership of the National Assembly against the backdrop of ongoing federal government intervention initiatives aimed at reducing the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on the most vulnerable Nigerians. During the meeting, according to the statement, Lawan and Bajabia made it clear that the SIP, which was established in 2016 under the presidency, but which is now under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, needed a reform to make it more efficient and effective. Quoting Lawan now, quote, "The National Assembly is very much interested in the current intervention initiatives of the ministry, particularly with respect to the disbursements aimed at assuaging the plight of the poorest of the poor in Nigeria against COVID-19. End of quote. 2 trillion naira social investment program of failure, says Lawan Bajabia-Miller. You know, you can almost put this side by side with Mr. Governor's statement about 2 days ago. I mean, Governor Sheyi Makinde saying he's not impressed, and I think that English is even still you know, that statement is still mild. He said he wasn't, or he isn't impressed, you know, with the performance of the, you know, social investment projects, you know, especially, you know, the cash transfer and all that. But now, these are two major people heading our parliament right here. Ahmed Lawan, the Senate President,
actually admitting that something is wrong.
They are not just admitting. They made it clear that it is a failure. I'm very careful with the use of words there. I mean, saying it is an outright failure is not, that's not even that I'm not comfortable, that's beyond. And, why am I saying this? I saw a clip yesterday, just part of the session, where they were asking the Honorable Minister, for disaster risk reduction, and she was saying that she mentioned one of the projects, school feeding projects. She was saying that actually there are some intrigues. I said, that she's still studying it, and I'm like, Madam, you've been months on this seat. That's indicting.
And the government has come out to actually give Nigerians the impression that nothing is wrong, and you are not saying there are some intrigues that you are still studying.
For her to even use that word, that there are some intrigues that I'm still studying, really? This is your job.
For a program that is supposed to be on, that is supposed to be very functional.
Exactly. And by the way, if you are not comfortable with it, you shut it down or you suspend it. Everybody will come out and say, yes, madam, you did right. Thank you for stopping it, because we have seen that these are not working. Everybody will thank her for it. But you continue disbursing the money even though you know that there are intrigues.
There are intrigues. I begin to wonder why there is so much controversy around these things in Nigeria.
Because direct money is, you can't trace cash. That's the danger in all of these things. That's the easiest way to steal.
But we do see these palliative measures, these things being implemented in the advanced climate. Sorry to be mentioned. And we really don't, because human beings are human beings in any part of the world, and if these things were not properly done in those places, we would have had civil unrest.
Exactly.
The Americans are not that docile, the Italians, the French, despite the magnitude of COVID-19 there. If being forced to stay at home and the government is not doing the needful, definitely there would have been civil unrest. And so I wonder why is it in our genes not to get things right in this part of the world? I begin to wonder. And we're talking about that. We see here again, this one says COVID-19, anger, disappointment over distribution of palliatives in Lagos, Ogun and Kwara. Now the Lagos State government says food relief package for indigent, vulnerable persons only. And package not for groups, CDAs, Ogun government says, and government cannot feed everybody, says Kwara governor. Now, if I'm not vulnerable and you force me to stay at home and cannot go out to make money, then haven't I become vulnerable, Dayo?
That's it now. Well, let me even add this to what you just read. Relief materials hijacked at Lagos Council. Fitness buffs turn roads to gyms. Some residents of Oluyole, local council development area CDA, on Monday stormed the chairman's office and helped themselves to COVID-19 palliative materials. The residents filmed taking away the relief items were said to have been frustrated by the alleged diversion of the first batch of the items released by the state government. The nation gathered that trouble started after some LCD officials came to the office to evacuate the relief items and told the residents that the items were for Community Development Association officials and leaders. Okay, the government had announced that such materials were meant for the poor and vulnerable members of the population. Angered that politicians and local leaders hoarded foodstuff meant for the poor, the residents in large numbers stormed the office and stopped officials from taking the items to the CDAs. As people collected their share, it was gathered that they also notified others to come for theirs. I can imagine. Panicked officials contacted police for assistance. Policemen from Oluyole division raced to the location, restored calm, and also retrieved some of the food items from residents who took more than one pack. So they allowed them go. Just take one. But this is not funny, seriously. Unfortunately, things are, why are we like this? As a country, some people can say it's for officials, it's for the gas. They said it's for the poorest of the poor. Why are we like this?
Because
I don't want to do party politics here. I don't want to even do. Can we just look at ourselves in the mirror? Why are we like this to ourselves?
And I have a feeling that even if these food items, even if the quantity is limited. As long as it is fairly shared and it gets to the right people, I have a feeling that Nigerians may not complain. The anger is really about this thing coming to the communities, and some people now trying to hijack the thing, and for whatever reasons, for reasons best known to them. Let me take this.
Please go ahead.
Residents of Lagos, Ogun, and Kwara states have expressed disappointment with the stimulus packages sent to them by their governments, lamenting the perceived inadequate quantity of the food items put as family pack expected to be shared in a household. Now, angry residents are saying the quantity will not even last a day, not to talk of the 2 weeks in which they have been ordered to stay at home. The affected residents in various video clips trending on social media expressed shock at the development, even as they noted that in most of the communities comprising a number of streets, only a few households were served. This was just as the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in Lagos and the main opposition People's Democratic Party PDP in the state traded words on the development, with the opposition party alleging that the stimulus packages were only given to members of the ruling party. The APC denied the claim, though it admitted that the distribution process would require an improvement. Meanwhile, the video evidence showed few small bags of rice with the inscription Lagos State Government COVID-19 Emergency Food Response were delivered to a community to share, with the leaders of such communities complaining bitterly about the development and the quandary they were in, especially on how to share the packages. Another video showed another community said to be in Ogun State with a similar food package delivered to them for sharing with similar challenge. Now, residents in the Ogun video clip led by a woman raised curses on their leaders who they said didn't consider them as important. COVID-19 angered disappointment over distribution of palliatives in Lagos, Ogun, and Kwara.
That particular article reveals another face of this whole challenge. Party members taking care of themselves first. And if anything remains, we give the others. COVID-19 does not know your party. I hope they know.
But why are these things being channeled through political parties?
It's so unfortunate.
Are there no government agencies that could liaise with landlords associations, with community heads? We have the bailiffs, we have the chiefs. Why the political parties? Why are they involved in this? That is what I don't understand.
It's unfortunate in Nigeria. Everything boils down to politics. We politicize everything.
At least it's the government that is giving out these palliatives. It's not the political parties.
Now imagine that yesterday now the Okiodo. Now people decide to now go there and they help themselves. Will you now begin to say, okay, you are SDP, you are PDP? They don't care. They will take the thing and go their way. So that's why I started by saying that why do we do this to ourselves? You know, it's easy to begin to blame some people on the top and say, hey, they are those leaders. How about imagine ordinary LCD officials saying that this thing is for them. You are earning salary, you have money. You know, they are saying that give it to people who don't have. You are saying it's for us. Some of them probably went home with 10 packs. I mean,
so the basic questions here now, I think two basic questions for me arises from this whole thing. The manipulation of these schemes, and secondly, the parameters for determining the vulnerable, the poorest of the poor.
I think that's even the question that the legislators were asking the minister yesterday. How did you come about these people on your lists? Or somebody just generated it and sent it to Abuja? I mean, these are questions we need to ask ourselves. Because when you look at people and people just want to distribute things, it's a nation that doesn't have accurate data.
Yeah.
I mean, so we just do things haphazardly. God help us. God help us.
Go on the air and make a lot of noise. We have done this, we have done that.
I'm going to get a camera and pay some people. So person has distributed, okay. Leaving a trace of issues and issues after it. Well, let's take this story. Extension of lockdown not ruled out, says federal government. SGF Buhari to decide 16 new cases, 8 discharged in Lagos, Abuja, 1 dies in Katsina. 10 days after the lockdown of Lagos, Abuja, and Ogun State, the federal government yesterday declined to confirm whether the restrictions will end after 14 days. President Muhammadu Buhari slammed the lockdown as part of the measures to halt the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19, in the country. The shutdown commenced on March 30. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force (PTF) on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, said in Lagos that his panel would review the situation and give the president the advice that will enable him to take the decision on whether to terminate the restriction or extend it. Many Nigerians are already breaching the sit-at-home order. Many vehicles are now back on the streets of Abuja and Lagos, barely 1 week into the 2-week period. Mustafa said in his address, the president, while addressing the nation, said 14 days in the first instance. So it is open. It is based on what has happened within these 14 days. Have the objectives been met? Have they satisfied the objectives? Has it gone in the direction we wanted it to go? If that has been achieved, he will look at all the information available to him as the president of Nigeria, and I can assure you that he will take a decision that is in the best interest of the people of Nigeria. He added, quote, "It is only Buhari who can say that the lockdown will be extended or not. Extension of lockdown not ruled out, says federal government." Details, if you want more of that, on page 5. Starts from the first page and then continued on page 5 and 8 of the Nation newspaper. So we might see an extension.
I think this whole lockdown thing, admitted that COVID-19 came to us as an unexpected emergency, but I think there should have been elaborate deliberations on the modalities to implement this lockdown without, first of all, trampling on the rights of the citizens and also making sure that the citizenry does not suffer. This is beginning to, imagine news shows that these things were done without any elaborate sitting down and planning on how to implement these things. How do we get people to stay at home during election time? How do we get people to how does one get people to obey the rules and regulations during the time of elections, like I said? And you begin to wonder at the level of our preparedness for some of this or some of these things. Well, like I said previously, before today, even on this platform, that it has taken COVID-19 to bring out a lot of things that is wrong with our social system.
No doubt.
See what is going into the health sector now. Even the economy, things that you begin to ask yourself that so these things could have been done. These things are actually possible. Well, what we're still talking about.
I think a lot of assumptions were made. And one of the most dangerous assumptions was that people will just naturally obey. Now they'll be afraid of this and they will obey. In fact, it will surprise you that people who are not, the people who flock the streets. I mean, somebody who owns a car is not poor. I don't want to believe somebody who wants to drive from mainland to island at 1 p.m. That person is not poor. I don't want to believe those are not the poor of the poor. Okay, I think the assumption that people will just stay at home, they will just obey. I mean, look at that story I took. It was Lekki at a particular time. Then it became Ikorodu, and then what am I talking about? People coming out early in the morning to say they want to do exercise on main road. Jogging a kilometer or more, and then you see plenty of people on the road. They say, "We are telling you to avoid the crowd." What are you doing? Some young boys will start monkey pole, football, contacts. This is exactly what we are telling you to avoid. You are doing the same thing while you should be in isolation, in quotes, you should be indoors. So that assumption that people will naturally obey was just not, I don't think it was well thought out.
And you may be surprised that who is actually poor in Nigeria. That you have a car doesn't
well, I stand corrected on that. Anyway, but I'm just saying that, to a very large extent, the middle class people can still afford some food. They are mostly the ones flouting these orders.
Because you see that you could be driving a car with nothing in your pocket, and the only hope you have is that, okay,
I agree.
I'll get to work today. Maybe somebody will come around.
I totally agree. I agree.
You know what I'm talking about, especially for the civil servants.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But I think the point here is that the elites, in quotes, are usually the ones flouting these orders. People will believe that, when you just tip the policeman, you allow you go, and this is something that needs to be well thought out. When you want to do things like this, consider them. Okay, so how do you take care? Funke Akindele is not poor now. Funke Akindele has money now. I mean, you want to throw a party, you have some money to spend. Okay, so when we look at things like this, government needs to also think, how do you handle people like this? Assuming that Nigerians will be okay. I mean, for me, it's a long one, and that's why, well, some of us will still believe that the Oyo State model, if well handled and enforced, is still a very good model. It might not be the best. I'm not saying it's the best, but it is, because whether you like it or not, even the same Lagos we're talking about now that is on total lockdown is almost no different. In fact, it's worse, because the traffic's on their major road now, and you are wondering, okay, so is this state actually on lockdown or no down at all? Because I mean, if you see few people on the street, you might want to, okay, partially locked down. It's as if business as usual everywhere. So, I mean, just like you said, ideas like this should be well thought out before implementation.
COVID-19, 4 fear killed in Kaduna for allegedly flouting stay-at-home order, an unpleasant one. It says 4 persons have been feared killed by policemen sent to quell a clash between some youths and operatives of the Civil Joint Task Force at Tankinya Market in Chikun local government area of Kaduna. It was gathered that some youths who went to buy food items at the market were accosted by members of the CJTF who claimed they had violated government stay-at-home order.
So it's killing them, that is the...
That's what we are saying. That probably these youths, they couldn't afford to store food at home, to stock up. So there was no choice than to just go out and get something from... and by the way, those they went to buy from, are they allowed to be out to display their wares? Well, if you are saying those who want to buy from them should not be out on the streets.
I wish I knew too. I mean, because sometimes some of these news are so shrouded, and you can't really make sense of some of those stories, and you are wondering, okay, so what exactly actually happened? Well, time check, 7:13 a.m. Destination time, 7:30 a.m. It's 7:13 a.m. right now, and we'll be stopping maximum 7:30 a.m. The phone lines are open for you, our distinguished listeners, to contribute on the show today. How do you see it? Do you have better suggestions for the government? What do you think we should be doing that we're not doing? And if I may ask, hope you have washed your hand this morning. Yes, these are very important things for us to note. I think we have a very first caller here.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, sir.
We can barely hear you.
Man is muffled.
Hello?
Okay, better now. Please go ahead.
What of those radio stations that are distributing those people, they are plenty of people and their radio stations to get all this rice money or all those things. No distance at all. Don't give them distance. I think they're contributing to this corona something now. What are you going to say about that?
Okay, I think we'll take some time to talk about that, and it's actually indicting media houses. When you call people to come and collect these things and then people crowd, and all that, I think we should just not be the one flouting the orders that we are trying to, these are very important stuff that we need to look at.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Falodun from Kopaidulu.
Mr. Falodun.
Thank you, sir. On the issue of the palliative materials you are talking about, Lagos, you are looking something from the top, you are not looking from the bottom. Have we placed self-centered politics or self-centered politics in this country? When something is meant for the poor, these people can even portray and give to other people. But they still want to be acquiring, Oliver Tui. That is what really happened. And that is why in this country we are having this type of problem. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Salodo. It's always brief.
Well,
precise and straight to the point.
That's it.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dayo.
Good morning.
Existing beneficiaries.
You didn't tell us your name, sir.
I can go on the line from my phone.
All right, please go ahead.
Existing beneficiaries. Why are we like this? You are the one who asked that question this morning. You can remember yesterday, there was a caller trying to tell Nigerians that the palliatives are only for APC members, and you were defending the finance minister that she did not say that. But you are not saying the scenario now that the palliatives are for APC members. I don't think that is good enough. I sent a message to you yesterday. Look, if Nigerians did not drive towards honesty, there are problems. We don't have any headway for the younger generation. Palliatives meant for the poor are now being.
Hello, Mr. Ajanaku.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, we're with you.
Palliatives meant for the poor are now being distributed among party members. Where will such a thing happen? I think we have to open new lives so that we'll be able to take good care of Nigeria and Nigerians. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Well, you need to know, this is a radio station. We are not doing partisan politics. That is why we will not use this platform to castigate or to promote any political party. We will not do that. Thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Nice to have you, sir. Please go ahead.
I don't know when are we going to start in this country. On the issue of this cash counter and distribution of palliative material, it's just a mere shadow and necessary infertility. We are not sincere with it. People are not sincere with it. Some people are politicizing, and we supposed not to be so. Are we not the same Nigeria? Are we not living in the same country? Yes. I don't know if you continue like this. I don't know how tomorrow is going to be. Then secondly, I want to advise our security in this state to please support.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can we pick another call there? Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello. The phone lines to still connect with the studio 09025038006 09025038006. I think there's another caller here.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello?
We are with you. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and location. Oh, you might need to call us back. I'm not sure you can hear us well. I'm not sure you can hear us well. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Severally have been complaining to you on this platform that the social investment distribution was being done to APC member. Underneath in perfect agreement with me, you can see what happened in Abuja yesterday. You see what is happening in Lagos now.
Actually, I think it's not really about the federal government or APC, but about some unscrupulous individuals, which their deaths need to be investigated, actually.
Well, the lines to still join the show. Let's not make this about party. We will do ourselves a lot of good if we see beyond partisan issues here. We have another caller here.
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I'm calling from Apple. I didn't in my room.
Okay.
The suggestion I want to bring to the nation is either they share the money through BCN. It will help the nation for a while. But for sharing it individually, it will not be okay. Either food or anything.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
I was talking about BVN.
Yeah. Well, some people tell you these guys don't have
it
bank
would be
accounts.
dangerous to yield your BVN number to.
It can be dangerous.
This is Nigeria. This is Nigeria.
Some of these guys don't even have bank accounts. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, you're on.
Hello.
Okay, well, call back. We'll try the other line. The phone lines to still join the studio: 09025038006 and 08055009850. That's the new line: 08055009850. We have callers here. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Morning, you're on. Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Grandma.
Grandma, good morning,
ma'am.
It's quite a long time.
Yes,
Wow.
Have you heard of D5?
You said, ma'am?
Have you ever heard of inauguration and installation of G5?
Well, it depends on what you mean by G5, sir. Ma'am.
G5.
It is the G5 that is killing people. It's not corona viruses.
Okay.
Okay, 5G.
Then too, if you want 5G, to know it, please send me your personal number so that I can send you so many videos on it.
Okay, 5G.
Secondly, about this trillion lost. Then what is their mission for that money? God help Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Grandma.
All right. We lost our call. Okay, here comes another one. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Something seems to be wrong.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good. Your name and location, sir?
I'm Vincent.
Okay, Vincent from where, sir?
From Lodge.
Okay, please go ahead with your comments. And please turn down the volume on your radio.
Is that the solution to this virus is because we continue lockdown for how long? Government arrange the officials to be going from house to house, vaccinating people that have it, tested those who are not having it, those who are having it, so that to select them to treat it at once, so that people will be able to go out for their business. For instance, those who are working for companies now, those companies are locked down. How will they get business to do? They also become poor at the end of the day. Those who have money, they are even careful of spending it because they don't know when things are going on. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate
there
it.
is no vaccine yet. It was talking about vaccination.
That's it. There's no vaccine.
Of course, the problem will be solved if there was to be a vaccine. Definitely.
Straight up. Just administer it to everybody.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please turn down the volume of your radio set or move away from it, sir.
Reverend Babatunde is talking from Lanate.
Okay,
nice to have you, Reverend.
Yes, we read that there will be cash transfer in your state. We don't know the way and manner the government will do this. So we are appealing to the government that when this thing is happening, they should know to do it so that it will cut across all the people in your state. Thank you very much, Reverend Babatunde from Lanate.
All right, thank you so much, Reverend. What I can tell you, what I can confidently tell Reverend and anybody who is waiting for cash transfer is that according to the Minister of Finance, this cash will be given to people who are already on their existing lists. That's the truth. So it's better you don't raise your hopes and be expecting that somebody will call your name to come and collect money. They have an existing list and for now they most likely will be working with that. But then if they call you, fine. And if it does not happen, all the best. But please do not raise your hopes expecting something that may not come. Food items, palliative measures from government and individuals, yes, that would most likely. But money from federal government, please, I suggest you do not, expect too much.
Something that actually says FG's conditional cash transfer scheme begins in Oyo, Kogi, Ekiti. So, like you said, if you are called, well.
Exactly. I mean, if you get it, fine. Can we hazard one more call before we go?
Hello, good morning.
You're on. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead. Your name, education, your comments.
From Ilero, Kajola local government, Oyo State.
All right, sir. Let's have your comment briefly, sir.
My comment is...
Mr. Lukman. All right, sorry, that's the last call we'll take today. From Twitter, these guys, I hope they will forgive me today. Beneficiaries at Yusuf AI at Abu Space says beneficiaries have to beg monthly to get their stipends. This is what happens when government put unfit people in sensitive roles. This minister seems to be causing more disaster than she has been told to manage. Too bad. He said ever since the NSIP moved into the Federal Ministry of disaster risk management and humanitarian, the program has been suffering. Well, we hope they do the right thing at the right time. Thank you so much. We can no longer pick calls. So sorry about that. So sorry about that. We can no longer pick calls. Still will come your way tomorrow. The phone lines are still buzzing. Sorry. On Facebook, sorry, we can no longer pick. Bolajis in the studio. We're going to be handing you into his safe hands for sport tidbits. Till tomorrow when we come your way again, a very big thank you to everyone who make today's show a success. I remain Oladayo Ogunbowale.
I'm Tola Teriba. What do you think of the boxer that spent £2,000 on two prostitutes and ended his career? That's talking about Walker now, Manchester City right back.
Well, I mean, it happens. I don't understand. I mean, this fight against COVID-19 is supposed to be a collective fight. I mean, and of course, public figures like him are always the ones used to push, that particular narrative that guys, you need to stay at home. And of course, having to now come out and do such a thing, even had that party with sex workers. Two sex workers actually spent £2,000 thereabout. I mean, that's really bad. And of course, I'm sure he was going to face the music alone, really. He's going to face the music.
All right, that's it. Up next, Spotted Bits. Please don't go anywhere.
Prime time. For those of you who do not know, you are listening to
98.5
Oluyole FM. Let's go.
Good morning, Ibadan. Good morning, Oyo State. Good morning, Nigeria. Time check, 7:30 a.m. And it's sport time right here on Oluyole 98.5 FM, as well as Agility FM 92.1 and Okiogun FM 96.3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have you join us this lovely Wednesday morning. It's the midweek edition of a Spotted Beat, where we're going to break the news first. Before this wake up in the morning, bring you the latest, the hottest, and the juiciest news making the rounds in a beautiful world of sport. And this morning, I've got stories from football, from tennis, from basketball, from golf, name it. I've got you covered this lovely morning. And being a Wednesday morning, I've got my interview session where we get to listen to a sports star. This time around, we'll be listening to a football star who will be sharing his experience. He'll be sharing his road to success with us on the show this lovely morning. And of course, don't forget, you can listen to us online. Just visit www.bcos.tv and you get to listen to Oluyole FM live and direct anywhere you are on planet Earth. You can also download our mobile application on Google Play Store this morning to get to listen to us easily and of course spontaneously. You can also watch us on Facebook. We're on www.facebook.com/Oluyole 98.5 FM, and on Twitter it's at Oluyole FM. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Boluwaji Ogunmola. Let's hit the ground running, starting from the Nigerian Professional Football League. Let's take a look at the current status of the Nigerian Professional Football League. Well, the league management company has said that it is yet to make a decision on who will be crowned the champions of the Nigerian Professional Football League. The LMC had announced an indefinite suspension of the league after match day 25 on the 20th of March due to the outbreak of COVID-19. Before the suspension, Plateau United had 49 points and were 4 points ahead of second place Rivers United on the NPFL table. And with the fate of many leagues across the world in the balance, some stakeholders are calling on the NPFL that should the league not be concluded at this point, Plateau United should be declared winners. This has, however, put Plateau United's coach Abdulmai Kaba and Rivers United coach Stanley Eguma, not to forget Eyimba coach Fatai Osho, taking different positions in separate interviews. According to Plateau United coach Abdulmai Kaba, it says that if you look at the number of match days, out of 25 played already, his team Plateau United have been on top of the log for 21 match days. So he thinks that his team deserve to be handed the trophy as the winner of the Nigerian Professional Football League this very season if things continue this way. But immediately Eguma countered him, saying that, let me quote him now, I will not want them to go ahead and hand Plateau United the MPFL trophy, but if the NFF in conjunction with the LMC decided to do that, then no problem. But according to Eyimba coach Fatai Osho, says that his team Eyimba deserve to be handed the trophy, or the LMC should make sure that the league concludes, because his team have 5 outstanding games, and should they win those 5, they will leapfrog Plateau United on the log. And the question this morning is, if you are in the shoes of Shehu Diko LMC, what would you do? Would you hand it over to Plateau United or to Eyimba? Alright, let me also inform you that Shehu Diko spoke at the weekend concerning this very one. It says, and I quote, for now, we are studying and reviewing various scenarios and options on what to do, depending on when we are able to resume. Alright, but for now, he's saying that they've not taken a decision and they're not ready to take any harsh decision or rush themselves into making any decision at the moment. But if you were to be in the shoes of Shehu Diko, what would your decision be this morning? Would you hand it over to Plateau United, knowing that they've been on top of the league for 21 match days, or to Eyimba, who have 5 outstanding games? 0805 500 9850 is the number, or 090-250-38006 to discuss this particular one on the show this morning. Away from that, let's talk about the NFF, where the Nigerian Football Federation has suspended their bid to host the 2022 African Women's Cup of Nations amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The 12th edition of the Continental Women's Showpiece is slated for November the 23rd to the 20th of December this year, but no host has been named just yet. The Nigerian Football Federation in January confirmed its interest to bid for the 2020 African Women's Cup of Nations hosting rights, along with two-time winners, Equatorial Guinea, and of course the postponement of the major continental competition, including the qualifiers for the competitions, happened due to the outbreak of COVID-19 in Africa. And of course the NFF have said that because of COVID-19 they are unable to submit their bid. According to NFF General Secretary Mohamed Sanusi, it says the NFF's priority right now is to battle against COVID-19, which is affecting the entire world. The 2020 event will feature 12 teams for the very first time, along with the host nation, which is expected to be announced as soon as possible. That's if we will still have the competition this year. Nigeria will hope to host the championship for the fourth time, having previously staged the competition in 1998, 2002, and 2006. Alright, let's head straight to Scotland this lovely morning. Super Eagles midfielder Joe Aribo and his Scotland and his Glasgow Rangers teammate have decided to defer their salary for 3 months amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The players reportedly agreed to do so in order to allow non-playing staff to receive payment in this period of hardship, as the Scottish club is struggling to generate income from football activities around Europe, having been shut down. The club confirmed this yesterday through their website and of course went on to thank the players for their understanding and cooperation. Meanwhile, Rangers, who are currently second on the log, are without a chairman after Dave King stepped down from the role in March, stating that plans for fresh investment had been put on hold at the club, showing that the club is really struggling financially. All right, moving on this morning to my interview segment. Nigerian striker Oluyole Gallo says that Austin Jeji Okocha, Kanu Wako, Dwight York, and Andy Cole were his football heroes while growing up, and learned a lot from them. The forward has been in good form for Manchester United since arriving at Old Trafford from Chinese side Shanghai Shenhua, and has been rumored to be moving closer to a permanent switch. While speaking to Manchester United's official website yesterday on his success stories, in the round of the game, the former Super Eagles striker said that no one had an influence on him than the 4 Premier League stars I mentioned earlier, and also claimed that those players helped him develop passion for football and Manchester United. Oluyole Gallo is on Spotted Beat this morning.
Where I grew up in Nigeria, in Lagos, every kid's desire is to play football. When I see kids going out to play football, I like to join them to play, and that's how I got that passion for playing football. And every day I have to go out there and join the guys to play football. Well, I would say it's my siblings, because they always go to play football, and I always join them to play football. My mom too is one of my inspiration because she always encouraged me, even when my dad does not supported it when I started. She encouraged me, pushed me through, and supported me in every way through the step I took when I was young for me to be who I am today. So I would say my mom inspired me, my siblings and some friends around inspired me. Well, I have a lot of football heroes. When I started supporting Man United, Dwight York and Andy Cole were my heroes growing up, and some Nigerian players like Jeji Okocha, Kanu, they are great players. They are my heroes when I was growing up. I watched them play on TV, and it's a great privilege for me to be playing for Man United, where great players like Andy Cole and Dwight York have played. Yeah, I would say like a striker, I watch Andy Cole a lot, Dwight York. They're a great striker, they score a lot of goals. So watching their movement, watching the way they play, watching the way they create space for themselves, watching the way they make runs in behind defenders, I learn all that, and I think he has helped me a lot in my football career. Well, before I go out of the pitch to play, I always listen to my worship song, listen to some calm music that will keep me refreshed, keep me positive, keep me thinking about games. I like to focus with music, relax, and I'm good to go. Well, many people said it's a gentle guy, but inside the field of play is a beast. I would say I'm a fighter. I never give up. I go all out for what I believe I can achieve, and I give my best 100%. No matter how the outcome of the game, win or lose, I go 100% in every game. Seeing the club from outside, you don't know how big it is, but when you're inside, you know how big the club is. I'm inspired with the way the club is structured. I'm inspired with the way of the direction of the club. I'm inspired with the way how they develop the young players, how the young players are coming in from the grassroots to the main team. I'm inspired with a lot of things in Man United.
That was former Nigerian international Odiona Jude Igalo discussing about his success story. Igalo's loan deal with United expires in June, and he has been reportedly offered £400,000 weekly by his parents' club Shanghai Shenhua in order to ignore permanent switch to Old Trafford. From one Nigerian player to another, Super Eagles captain Super Falcons captain Azizat Oshoala has been named in Forbes under 13 list. The Barcelona family forward, alongside musicians Florence Otedola and Tosin Ajibade, Mr. Easy, are some of the successful Nigerian youngsters to have made the illustrious list for 2020. Oshoala has been in scintillating form for Barcelona this season with 20 goals and 1 assist in 19 league appearances. Impressive performances for Barcelona have drawn global attention, making her one of the young people doing exploits on the field of play. Well, Oshoala, who is the reigning African Women Player of the Year, has also played for Premier League sides Arsenal and Liverpool Football Club. Right away from that, let's move to an African team who, despite COVID-19, are still running their league. But of course, they've put in some measures to curb the spread in that country. Well, Burundi's Football Federation has said that it's going to carry on with the league after consulting the country's health minister regarding the outbreak of COVID-19, but has introduced a number of measures to try and keep the players safe. They have been told that they cannot celebrate in groups if one of them scores a goal. Wow. Who celebrates alone on the field? All right, we'll see how that works. They have also instructed the players to wash their hands before a match and not to shake hands with referees or other players. There are only 3 rounds of games remaining in the current season in Burundi, where 3 people in Burundi have tested positive for COVID-19, as well as Burundi football continues to be played in Belarus, Nicaragua, and Tajikistan. All right, moving to tennis this morning, Aruna Quadri has disclosed that being a table tennis star has impacted his life positively. Quadri said this on Monday when he joined millions of table tennis players and fans to celebrate the World Table Tennis Day. Currently ranked number 18 in the ITTF list released in March, the Nigerian says that the sport made him a better person. Quadri represented Nigeria at the 2016 Olympics in Brazil, where he became the first African to reach the quarterfinal stage. He won a silver medal at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia. And quick update coming from World Athletics this morning. They said that all qualifiers have now been suspended, and qualifiers for next year's Olympic will now start on the 1st of December. So any other competition that holds from now till November 30th won't count for qualification at all. Moving to Formula 1, the Canadian Grand Prix has become the latest Formula 1 race to be postponed as a result of COVID-19 crisis. The Montreal event is the 9th race to be affected so far this very season. It was due to be held on the 14th of June, but organizers had to make a decision now because of the length of time required to set up the track. Attempts will be made to find a slot for the popular race at the earliest opportunity later in the summer. I'm moving to UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship. President of UFC, Dana White, says that he is close to securing a private island to continue hosting fights during the coronavirus crisis. White says that UFC 249 will go ahead on the 18th of April at an undisclosed location. The The organization was forced to postpone 3 events in recent months, but White says that the current calendar will resume for international fights this month, with countries tightening travel restrictions and borders. White plans to use a private island to fly in fighters who otherwise would not be able to get into the United States. Lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov was due to take on Tony Ferguson in New York at UFC 249, but with Nurmagomedov in quarantine in Russia, White confirmed that Justin Gaethje will replace him. Still a spotted bit this morning. Moving to the world of football, all Bundesliga clubs have returned to training for the first time since this season was suspended due to the outbreak of COVID-19. Most teams, Bayern Munich most especially, returned to training in small groups on Monday after the German Football League's recommendation to stop group practice expired. On Tuesday yesterday morning, Werder Bremen returned to training ground after they were the last team to go to get the go-ahead from the States. Borussia Dortmund, who are behind league leaders Bayern Munich by 4 points, and FC Augsburg went against the DFB's recommendation and were training in small groups last week as they were no state-imposed restrictions in place in their own region. The type of group activity that can take place depends on the regulations from state to state. Some clubs can practice in bigger groups. For example, Schalke in groups up to 7 and Cologne up to 8, whereas others like Werder Bremen are still restricted to 4 players per group. Entering Frankfurt are only training in groups of 3 because positive coronavirus tests in the past. The Bundesliga campaign has been on hold since the 13th of March and remains suspended until at least the 30th of April following a meeting of league clubs on Tuesday. And still in Germany this morning, Thomas Müller looks to accept to spend his entire career at Bayern Munich after extending his contract until 2023. The 30-year-old joined the club as a schoolboy in 2000, making his debut for the club 8 years later, and has since racked up over 500 appearances, having risen up through the youth ranks. Müller is a club icon who has won 8 league titles, 5 German Cups, and the 2013 UEFA Champions League. Müller scored 38 goals for Germany in 100 internationals and was a key part of the team which won the World Cup in Brazil 6 years ago. Also, FIFA have also made it clear that they are looking to move the summer transfer window, or in short, the summer transfer window will be moved and contracts ending on the 30th of June will be extended for a short period under proposals agreed by football stakeholders, and that's according to FIFA yesterday. Now, the implication is that players whose contract was supposed to end on the 30th of June can now remain with the club for a stipulated point in time, and FIFA has also urged clubs to protect jobs and try and negotiate with their playing staff so that they will have enough funds to pay non-playing stars. Alright, officials from Russia and Qatar have hit back at an indictment from the United States that alleges that they secured World Cup hosting rights through bribery. On Monday, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed an indictment that alleges Russia and Turkey and Qatar that they bribed FIFA executive committee members to secure the hosting rights for 2018 and 2022. But of course, the two countries, Russia and Qatar, have come back to refute all of those claims. That'll be all on Spotted Beat this lovely morning. Big thanks to everyone who was in part of today's production, and bigger thanks to you for listening. My name is Boluwaji Ogunwa. The show returns tomorrow morning. Until then, do have a lovely day and stay safe.